Hello and welcome everybody to the Richland Center City Auditorium, where it is my pleasure to show you what it's like to audition for a play here in downtown Richland Center. Today they are holding auditions for the play, and then there were none. So come on in guys, let's check out what it's like inside. As you enter the building, you come up the staircase and through these doors. Once inside, you may come down the aisle and take a seat while we wait patiently for the auditions to begin. And Mr. Paul Carlson, the head of the City Auditorium, is taking me backstage to see what's behind the curtains. As I come up onto the stage, I quickly notice both bidding rooms and staircases on each side. And now we are heading upstairs to see what kind of treasures are waiting in store for us. One of the first things I noticed once we got upstairs was this big wall of hats, and wow, that's a lot of hats. I saw one I liked and eagerly couldn't wait to try it on. I sure am silly. After all the wall of hats, I was taken in another room, which was jam-packed full of all sorts of costumes and wardrobes, anything they had bought, had donated, or collected themselves over the years. Almost anything they needed for a play was practically there. Next, we enter a room that was just full of old props like glassware, silverware, trays, bottles, etc.
Oh, you got some double cola.
Yeah.
Those are ancient. That's for sure. Don't see these anymore hardly. Mom talks about this stuff.
Boy, did my mom sure love drinking ski soda out of those glass bottles when she was a little girl. Then we headed back downstairs where Paul let me take a look at another room that was full of picture frames and other sorts of props.
Oh, old pictures and stuff for backgrounds.
Yep.
Cool. Flowers. Baskets. Even a big saw, that's funny.
After that, we headed way upstairs to where you can see where the curtains of the stage and the lights are hanging. Boy, the view up here sure looks scary. Lastly, Paul takes me down to the dungeon. I'm just kidding, it's just the basement. Down here they have a little lounge area where they also store some of the bigger props for the plays.
Oh wow.
But when the church was here, they had their Sunday school down here.
Wow, church. That's nice. In this room just next door, they have saws and spare lumber so they can build sets or whatever else they may need for their plays. While we wait for the auditioners to arrive, we're going to ask the director and the assistant director some questions.
Could you guys please just introduce yourselves really quick?
My name is Colt McBain Watson. I will be the director for the summer production of Agatha Christie's And Then There Were None.
Oh, cool.
And I'm Amy Rohn. I am assistant director.
All right. And what exactly is this play about?
Agatha Christie's And Then There Were None is a murder mystery. It involves 10 strangers who are all invited to an island mansion by an eccentric and mysterious host. And when they arrive, they discover their host is absent, and they discover a record that accuses each of them of having committed a serious crime for which they were not punished.
Oh, wow.
And as the events unfold, the guests begin to die one by one, leading them to deduce that one of them must be the killer.
Wow. Why exactly did you choose to play?
Well, I have been thinking about directing for community players for some time now, and so I was hoping to do more of a straight play. I've been involved in musicals, but I'm not actually very musically inclined when it comes to singing or dance choreography, so I don't think I would have the strengths necessary to direct that large of a production. So when I was looking at straight plays, I was thinking really in two spectrums, either comedies or sort of the murder mysteries. And the board said that both of those were something they'd be interested in doing as well. And Then There Were None. It's a story that I was familiar with. I knew it had been adapted into a stage play and would have the available rights, so we could do it. And I decided that it would be a good one for a smaller, intimate cast and a smaller set, which will be good for the City Auditorium.
Is this your first time directing?
This is my first time directing.
About how long is the play going to last?
The runtime for the show should be around 2 hours, 15 minutes.
How many people are going to be involved in the whole process?
There are 11 roles in the show, 3 women and 8 men, ages ranging from 20 and up.
So you're still looking to fill most of those spots or all of them today?
Yep, we're looking to fill all of them.
Most people that you perform with are like first-time performers, and
Some of them are. When I first started here, I had absolutely zero experience whatsoever other than working backstage in high school musicals. And then I think it was about 5 years ago, I decided to audition at UW Richland's Elephant Man, and I got a part. I had no idea what to expect. This last winter when we did our winter play, that was the first time I ever actually acted for Community Players Theater.
oh, wow.
And it was a lot of fun. So you really have no idea who's going to audition, so it's never the same people hardly.
Oh, yeah?
If it is the same people, they don't always get the the lead.
Yeah.
I use, and I still always do backstage even before that. For Mary Poppins, I did backstage 7 Brides for 7 Brothers, and that's where I feel more comfortable, but I like acting too, so.
Oh, what kind of duties backstage exactly do you do?
For stage crew, a lot of it would be helping if there's any scene changes, making sure scene changes are out there, making sure the actors are ready and to go out on stage and to cue them when they need to go out, making sure that everybody has their props in their hands, making sure that props get taken off stage when they need to, and then curtains, if there's curtain opening and closings.
So it doesn't really take too many people to do that?
Depends on the performance.
Yep, it depends on the production. Some of them, such as this show, we won't need as much stage crew for scene transitions.
Okay.
However, for larger musical shows, sometimes you can have up to maybe 20 stage hands.
So you can actually probably have more people in the background more than on stage
Yeah,
sometimes.
Yes.
very easily.
That's interesting. What positions are you still looking to fill?
Positions that we're currently looking to fill, we might need 1 or 2 general stage crew hands to help backstage. Looking for someone who is in charge of house staff, which they are in charge when performances are going on and people enter and they purchase their ticket. House staff guides them all in, and once everyone is seated, house staff will cue closing the doors, turning off the lights, and starting the show. And volunteers to help sell tickets. People who might be interested in helping provide props or provide costuming. We do have someone in charge of those, but volunteers always make it helpful. And aside from that, set construction, they're always looking for people. It makes set building a lot easier.
What parts exactly are you guys auditioning for today?
Well, we are auditioning for all the parts. There are 3 women. One is a young woman in her 20s. Another is a middle-aged woman who can be anywhere from her 40s to her 60s. And then an elderly woman who would be 60s and older. In the male parts, there are 8 of them. They again vary in ages from 20 to 70.
Who are the leads?
I won't say who the leads are because
That'll be a
this is a murder
surprise.
mystery.
What kind of turnouts do you guys usually get for these plays? Is the place usually pretty packed?
Turnouts, again, they vary depending on the size of the show. Larger shows, especially musicals and ones involving children, you can have up to easily 50 people audition in one night. And sometimes for the smaller shows, it depends on the day. Sometimes Mondays will be shorter because people are tired from the workday, or sometimes Tuesdays will be because everyone wants to come in on the first night.
You guys often have a really tough time deciding who gets what roles.
I wouldn't know.
I wouldn't
Those
know.
are chosen by the previous directors. But we have some very talented people and sometimes some very impressive new talent. There's a fair number of regulars and a fair number of new people for every show.
Yep. It's very addicting. Being on stage, once you're on stage and you've done your first performance, you realize how much fun it is. You realize the bond that you make with your other castmates and all the stage crew and even the director. It's a lot of fun. So most of the time people do end up coming back multiple times once they've been here.
What kind of things can you expect as a newcomer coming out and auditioning today?
Everybody here has either this is their first time or this is their 100th time. They've all are very understanding. Nobody here is judgmental at all. Everybody here is extremely supportive of everything that goes on here. So if you're brand new, they're going to make you feel extremely welcomed,
That's good.
and they're going to make you feel as comfortable as you can.
That's good.
One of the nice things is for our auditions, we don't require that the performers have any prepared monologues. We have scripts available that we have them read scenes from. And sometimes actors find it helpful to not even really know or be familiar with the play outside of its basic concept, because then when they come in and read for the characters, they don't have preconceptions where they're trying to imitate how a famous actor did it or even how they imagine the character sounds in their heads. They're just able to read the lines for the first time and present their take on how they view these characters.
But what time is everybody supposed to be here today?
Auditions will open at 6:30 both tonight and tomorrow, with callbacks reserved for Wednesday at 6:30.
Oh hey, looks like our first auditioners are starting to arrive. But I don't want to bug them now and make them too nervous. So I'm just going to run upstairs really quick to check out what it looks like up there. And wow, it is so cool up here. Well, it looks like the auditions are finally going to start. I better get in my place.
Entrance. For this scene, I want Dwayne to read for Mackenzie, Shay to read for Vera, Nathan to read for Blore, I will read Lombard's part, Sharon to read for Emily, and we will end where Rogers would speak. So, whenever you're ready, Dwayne.
How do you do?
General Mackenzie, isn't it? I'm Mrs. Owen's secretary. Mrs. Owen has been detained in London, I'm afraid.
But the kitchen's my place and housework's none of my business. All these guests. I have a good mind to put my hat and coat on and walk out now and go straight back to Plymouth.
Can't do that, old girl.
Who says I can't? Why not, I should like to know?
Because we're on an island, old girl. Had you forgotten that?
The director will have you do several takes of the same scenes, mixing up who plays which role each time so they can have a perspective of which role they think will work best for you. So more than likely you will read every part, maybe even the same part more than once.
Bad for the nerves. Some mannerless young fellow nearly drove me into the ditch near Armbury. Shot past me at about 8 miles an hour. Disgraceful.
Looks like the director had to step out for a second, so I took the opportunity to ask the auditioners some questions.
We're all so quiet. It's like we can't do anything without direction here. So I'm the instigator. Shay, welcome home. Thanks.
My name's Cole, by the way, if you guys are wondering. I'm just filming the auditions.
Guy with the camera.
Yep. Filming the auditions to get the behind the scenes and what it's like to audition for a play here in Richland Center.
Oh, it's so much fun, isn't it, guys? So much fun.
It looks like it. It looks like you guys are pretty comfortable up there.
We're having such a good time.
I don't know. You're doing pretty good for a rehearsal, I'd say. At least from my perspective.
I've definitely done worse. I mean, I've had some auditions.
Let me tell you.
You guys definitely make it seem more fun than nerve-wracking.
Well,
It is kind of trying to figure out the
Yeah.
that helps a lot.
Oh, I'm sure.
It gets really bad when you don't know anyone.
Trying to get comfortable around new people along with act with them, I'm sure isn't easy.
You're doing great.
How many plays have you guys been in?
I've been in.
I counted today. 17.
Wow,
Yeah, I
that's
think
quite
I've
a
been in
few.
20 or
I've
25.
acted in 17.
Wow,
So
that's amazing.
I'm a rookie.
Well, you're doing good for a rookie.
Well, I guess the director's back, but that's enough questions for me. Back to the auditioning.
Slipping down to the pub or going to the pictures. Oh well, it's double wages on the account of the difficulties, and there's plenty of beer in the house.
Oh, that's all you ever think about, beer.
Now, stop your nagging. You get back to the kitchen or your dinner will be spoiled.
It'll be spoiled anyway, I expect. Everybody's going to be late. Wasted on them anyway. Well, thank goodness I didn't make a souffle. Oh, dinner won't be a minute, miss. Just a question of dishing up.
All right, thank you. Both of you can sit down. Nathan and Tessa, and I'll lead to the scene.
Then you should see his underwear. Cheap as they make them.
Well, as I said, it's not treating us right. All these visitors arriving today, and the maid's not coming until tomorrow. What do they think we are?
Now then. Anyway, the money's good.
So it ought to be. Catch me going into service again unless the money was good.
Well, it is good. So what are you going on about?
For this scene, I want Daniel to read for Marston, Nathan to read for Lombard, Shay to read for Vera, and I will read Blor's part.
So I'll start?
Yep, you'll start. Right.
Don't forget the oil for the engine, Fred. I ought to charge up tomorrow, or I'll have the lights running down.
Was held up on railway. It's at the station now. I'll bring it across the first thing tomorrow.
And give a hand with the luggage, will you?
Right.
I forgot to give you a list of the guests, Tom.
Thanks, old girl. Doesn't look a very classy lot to me. Miss Claythorne. She'll probably be the secretary.
I don't hold much with secretaries. Worse than hospital nurses. And them giving their airs and graces and looking down on servants.
Thank you very much, everyone. That will be it for tonight. Thank you all for coming.
So that is basically it to the auditioning process. It's unbelievably easy. When I gathered here today, almost everybody has the acting bug in them. So come on down to the City Auditorium and try out for the next play we are having. It's worth a shot. Before I left, I was able to snatch up 2 of the auditioners for a quick after the audition interview, and they had some interesting things to say.
You guys said both that you've been working on several plays?
Several.
Yes, many.
From the time Shay was a little
Very
one.
tiny.
Oh yeah. And for when you started, were you first nervous doing this at all, or?
Absolutely. My first show was Peter Pan. Like, that was way back. I was in 7th grade. And I'd never really done anything with theater before. I had no idea what to expect. I just knew I had to come in and sing a song. And I stood up there and I was shaking and it was terrible. But
And she sings beautifully,
thanks.
incidentally. And my first play I did actually was out at the campus, and it was just a walk-on role here. I'd done other stuff before.
Wow.
But yeah, I managed to put my mark. I turned it into an old drunk lady who was wandering through the art gallery.
So today you came in knowing what to expect a little bit more than weren't so nervous.
Most of it I've been in. I was the Wicked Witch and Wizard of Oz.
Fun.
I've been in many, not musical productions, because the only musical production I was in was in Mary Poppins, and I just had a walk on and played Queen Victoria.
No, yeah, she just walked on. That's all she had to do.
So I'm not musically inclined like Shay.
It gets easier the more you do it, though, because once you know people and you've worked with them, you can play off each other a lot more, and you just kind of know what's coming. Like, these have all been pretty standard, even with different directors.
And you understand that theater people are pretty forgiving.
Yeah.
You know, you could mess up and they'll just go, wait, you can do it better
Yeah,
next
you gotta be respectful.
Yeah, with community theater, it's mostly a big learning experience for everyone who comes, even us old vets. Like, there's always something new to learn, so.
Yes, it's good to see some new faces here.
Yeah, I was really excited about that.
We'd like to see some new male faces. No, we don't take it. I mean, to be cast in the play.
Now that everything's over with, for the first auditions, what do you expect for round 2 exactly? Do you guys come back and do some more auditioning, or do you wait for your callbacks after this now? Or
I think it depends on the show. I figured I'd come back this time just because I didn't know who would show up for a straight drama and not a musical. So I could see some new faces, maybe encourage more people to come. So.
And I'll be here tomorrow night because I'm helping with auditions too. So yeah, but I'll probably read again because I love to read. I like the process even more than doing the play on this. I like the process, the blocking, the doing the sets, the getting into character, the getting to know the other people. I like that whole process.
As far as I can see for day one, it's just figuring out what's comfortable. Any roles in particular you guys are looking to get for this play? Or?
Whatever the director decides.
Really, whatever. I figure for my age, the best part would be Vera, because the other parts are older, but it is easier to make someone older than younger. So I kind of had a shot.
Oh yeah, there's no way they can make Vera out of me. But I'm hoping either Emily or Mrs. Rogers, one of the two. I think they're. I think they're trying to. It's like the party's over. You have to go. You have to go somewhere.
I guess that'll be it for now.